the first keynote speaker of the day, the one, the only, the legend, that is Mr. Brad Burton.
People, how you all doing? APA conference, thank you so much for having me back. What a crazy 6 months. What a crazy 6 months. What a crazy 7 months. Nobody had any idea this time last year where we'd be heading. And I said this, the showstopper is the show starter. This is an opportunity to do things differently. An opportunity for you to do things differently in your life, in your business, in your career, in your future. I want you to remember life before this. Remember what your aspirations were for 2020. I also want you to remember what you wanted to be as a kid. I wanted to be a ballerina. Well, fortunately, I'm being told I can retrain now because the events industry, get off your soapbox, Brad. But the reality is, you know, I wanted to be a car salesman. Now, fortunately, that dream was never realised. But what did you want to be as a kid? Just remember back. What did you want to be as a kid? But everything changed this year. Everything changed. Every plan that you had changed. Because right now, we've got uncertainty. Red and that horrible font, uncertainty. But before we had that uncertainty, what did we have? Before this uncertainty, we had this Brexit uncertainty. Remember the old Brexit uncertainty, the uncertainty. And before that, we also had business uncertainty. And then we had COVID uncertainty. And then we had uncertainty. And you wonder why everyone's all messed up right now. People. If you think about it, whenever you got your computer and you've got this, by the way, this is my real desktop, or it was before I wiped everything. My computer was so slow because I had all these files in there because I was too busy to fix it. So what I'd end up doing was I would leave it on there, always wanting to get round to it, but never quite getting round to it. Then all of a sudden what happens is now you've got something that you never anticipated, COVID. So I never got round to fixing this. But this is also like your brain as well, because your biggest chance of success is this. And it has been testing. It has been testing. See, when you've got your desktop like this, it's a mess. Imagine what your brain's like, right? You've got so many things you're thinking, I need to take the kids to school. What's happening with Tier 3 over in Manchester? I need to pay that invoice. Then I've got work. Then I've got to go and make the kids ham, egg and chips or waffles. Or if you're a vegan, any vegans online at the moment, do let everyone know, saves you a job. But the point I'm making, right, is this. The reality is you've got so many things going on. And I recognise that it's been challenging. Oh, I get that. Of course it's been challenging. And throughout the course of the day, I'm doing 3 speeches that are really going to take you on a journey. Each of these are individual, but every single one of them is going to take you on a journey that is going to aim to help you. Because I'll tell you something. All problems have a worse before date. So whatever's going on right now, I promise you, it's not going to last. It's just not. Because we've all been grieving. We've all been grieving. We've all been dealing with loss. Loss of the life we once had. Loss of, the freedoms that we once had. Just going to the shop and not having to wear a mask. How many times have you ever gone to the shop and go, mask, right? We've all done it. Masks. Who would have thought back in February, I'd tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and invest in masks. Nobody. But this is the thing, the world changes and you need to be prepared to change with it. There is no, as Karen said, there's no rule book or manual if there was, but there's not. So what we're doing, truth, we're all making it up. Even me, even Karen, even Jamie. Everyone's making it up. We're trying to do our best to readjust fast. And it's difficult to readjust fast when you're under pressure because people under pressure don't make great decisions. So we're all under pressure and we've got to make decisions. But people under pressure don't make great decisions. So here's the key. The key to that is to take the pressure off yourself. Take the pressure off yourself. Now, we've all been grieving. Remember when this all happened? Back in February, March? LBC were talking about it, the wet markets in Wuhan. And what happened? Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then when it did land over in the UK, we'll be locked down for maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. And now we're looking for the next year. That's the reality. So we had denial. Then we had anger. Come on, Rishi, sort it out. Come on, Boris, sort it out. Now, let me let you into a little secret. Politicians are making it up just like you and I. There's no rule book of pandemic. Well, there is, but that's all gone out the window. whenever the reality of this situation takes hold. So it's difficult. Denial, anger. Then what happens is depression. This is the stages of grief. We're all grieving loss of our lives, loss of what we're going to go on holiday to Greece and no, we can't do it. Denial, anger, depression, then acceptance. I am going to help you today to get to acceptance. That's my goal, to get to acceptance, that this, what we've got right now, is your life. My mum said to me, 76 she is, my mum. I'm going to talk about it later. She's actually in one of the slides. But she said to me, I said, Mum, everything that's going on, the business is struggling and so forth. She was. And she said, I want you to do something. Now, this is wizened. Only a 76-year-old could tell you this. She said, I want you to get a piece of paper and write on the bottom your problems that you've got right now you're dealing with. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write above it how it could be worse. Just keep going. And she said, after you get to half a page, you go, you know what? My life ain't so bad. And I want you at home right now to write where you are, the things that you're worried about, and then start writing how it could be worse. And then when you recognise that we're the lucky ones, people. But what we end up doing is we end up with this whole thing of carrying this big rock, this big backpack full of rocks, where we're carrying everything on. It's so painful, it's so tiring right now, but all the worry that I'm carrying, what I want you to do is I want you to think right now about this. Imagine this, a wonderful field in Oxford. You don't have fields like that in Salford, Manchester, I promise you, right? Well, you do, but they've got all stolen cars on. So, but the point I'm making is I want you to imagine this. And I want you to imagine that you've got a big backpack full of rocks, all your worries that you're carrying. And the great thing about worry is it works because everything you worry about never fucking happens. Oops, my arms are swear, sorry. Right, but it never happens, right? It never happens. So what I want you to do is I want you to say to yourself, why are you carrying that big rucksack full of rocks? That thing you're worried about, why? Well, because I've always carried it. I get that, but why are you carrying it? Well, because I've always carried it since being a child. Yeah, I get that, but why? Tell you what, let's do a little deal, you and I. Why don't you take the rucksack off, place it here, walk on, metaphorically in your mind, for about a minute, stop, turn back, and make a decision. To either go back and get that rucksack and carry it for life, carry it for the remainder of your life, stop whinging about it, or do what I did, which is I left the rucksack there and I walked on with my life. I swear to you people, my life changed when I did this. Because I was carrying a lot of stuff from my younger life. Pointless. Why are you carrying that big rucksack full of rocks? So me, Brad Burton, you're thinking, who's this guy? I'm UK's #1 motivational business speaker. This is me at XeroCon, keynoting. I've got courses, I've got my own mentoring groups, I've written books, I've run some businesses. In fact, my business was for networking, 5,000 networking meetings across the UK. Now bear in mind, 94% of businesses fail within the first 10 years. I've been going for 14 and a half years with this business. And then all of a sudden COVID comes along, I run 5,000 meetings, business networking meetings, real life business networking meetings each and every year. I did until COVID came along. And my business, I was running 500 events roughly a month, no longer. My income, £100,000 a month, not my personal one, my business, right? £100,000 plus a month, gone. Collapsed overnight. Now I had two options. I could sit there going, oh, well, when Rishi's run out, what's he going to do? Or, like these guys at this amazing studio, by the way, in the Midlands, have done. They've decided that actually they're not going to wait for the storm to go. They're going to do something about it. We're going to change. I had to take my business of 14 and a half years online overnight. 72 hours I took it. 72 hours. I had to adapt. That's what you need to do to your life. To your life. The world has changed. The plans that you had in January, February, there's changed. You've got some storms here and you're choosing to buffet your way through. Stop. We're going to get to it later. I was talking to a guy. He said this, I'm a corporate accountant. Small businesses can't afford my fees, so I'm not going to bother. He's now on universal credits. This was a guy who chose not to adapt. He chose not to adapt because, it's going to be fine. I'm going to wait to see what happens. And he's now on universal credits. If I would have said to him at the time, when I spoke to him, hey, would you prefer to be on universal credits or work with small businesses? Which one would you do? He said small businesses, but he didn't. This is now a case of adapting. Adapting. So, I went to a farm shop, middle class now, by the way. No longer live in Salford, Manchester, right? But I went to a farm shop, okay? And I went there and I bought some vegetables. And as I'm putting these vegetables in there, the woman behind the counter goes like this. That's me going, oh my God, this is when COVID, you're thinking it's everywhere. And you had no idea that the reality of it, you can keep social distance, no idea. So she's coughed, and I'm like this now. So gets me vegetables, gets me car, rings the wife. Kerry, what it is she's just coughed, I need you to wash this veg. So when it gets into the kitchen, the island, told you middle class, puts all the veg on there. My wife's put it in bicarbonate of soda, water, we're washing all the vegetables, right? Washing all the vegetables. And I take my clothes off in the kitchen. I am nude. Control yourself, Jamie. My wife describes me, by the way, nude as an egg on legs. Something for the weekend for you there, ladies. However, and Jamie, right? But the reality is I've got my clothes off in the middle of the kitchen. I put them in the washing machine and it goes upstairs and it has a shower instantly. Now, if I would have done that back in January, come in and just took my clothes off with all the vegetables there and told my wife, said, listen, you need to wash them, she'd have gone, you are tapped. Now, that's kind of the right thing to do. The world has changed, but what we need to do is motivational speakers will tell you that what you need to do to change your life is you need to take massive action. No, you don't. What you need to do is you need to take passive action. Passive action, because I tell you something, with all the uncertainty that is going on right now, the uncertainty, I need you to take the uncertainty off your decisions. Stop it. Calm down. People under stress don't make great decisions. And when you're going, uncertainty, we made decisions, uncertainty, you're putting yourself in a tailspin. We're going to get to that later, section 3, as to how we can avoid this. But first thing, the simplest thing is this. I need you to take that away from yourself. Take that uncertainty away and be completely confident in your decisions. See, the reason that we get stuck in our decisions is we don't know if to go left or right. Brexit. Right? Should we lock down? Should we not lock down? I want to get married. I want to be young, free and single. I want to run my own business. I want to be self-employed. I want to be employed and and you end up in this place where you don't want to be. So it's so important that what you do is where you are. Make where you are where you want to be. Mentally, emotionally, at home, career, make where you are where you want to be. Just a picture of a kitten, lovely. Just thought I'd break it up. So what does this make possible, right? That genuinely is just a picture of a kitten, by the way, for everyone at home. Lovely, isn't it? Beautiful. What does this make possible? Ask yourself that. I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write at the top, what does this make possible? What it made possible for me, which is exactly what I did back in February, March, is it made possible for me to change the way that I do things. So what I want you to do right now, write a piece of paper, you're watching this at home, what does this make possible? And start filling that in. And ask yourself a question, does it move the needle? Does what you're doing in your life, business, your career, does it move the needle? Does it move the needle what you're doing? If you're spending hours looking about protests around the world and people on Sky News and this, that and the other, what's it doing? It's going to be eroding this, giving you more uncertainty. Stop it. I need you to have certainty. Certainty that what you're going to do is the right thing for you, for your life, for your business, for your career, for your future. People, where you end up is a direct result of your decisions. Your decisions. Where you end up is nothing to do with Rishi Sunak. Nothing to do with Boris Johnson, but you and your decisions. You know, I look at my life and it's changed. It's unrecognisable. How and why? Because I've changed. I'm still the same person that I always was. My ingredients are exactly the same. But you know what's changed? My recipe. How? Because I changed it. I recognised that where and who I wasn't who I wanted to be. And I've made the long, arduous journey of changing. People, this is what's going to happen today. I'm going to get you fired up and focused. Fired up and focused for your future. I'm going to help you, guide you through. The best way through a minefield or a minefield is by following someone who's got through a mine or a minefield. Boys and girls, my next session is going to be called Your Best Chance of Success. Stay tuned. Thank you.